YouTube. Welcome to Team TS TV. We're gonna get into some questions.
Somebody raise her dose. Jesus Christ.
Check it out.
Right here.
That's a heavy loaded question, but I think to me it's just living authentically yourself and what you feel like your truth is, and there's not one way to tell somebody how to do it.
Yeah, I think trans culture is so much about like transcendence. I think that's what I find so beautiful in every trans person. They are somewhere now that they never really imagined they would be when they were younger.
It's transitioning, so it's not stationary. Like you're constantly in progress of moving, and it kind of feels like it's like its own like punk DIY culture in a certain way. Like there's something that like they're like, well, I just have to fucking do it myself because nobody's gonna do it for me.
I think more people need to talk about how it's not a particular way to look or do it. And I think that's something I had to like learn and like teach myself as well, even going on that one said show that we were on.
Wife swap.
Wife swap, yeah, that was the one. Hoarders.
That's for housewives.
It's a transition for a reason. I'm going through phases of becoming who I want to. Society has a certain way they want people to look. You need to be quote unquote passable. This is your journey and your path and do it how you want to.
We have to open the conversation up to there's not a before and an after. There's always an after the after. There's not a destination point that you get to and you're like, I have done it, I have transcended, I am transed, I have done it. It feels like it's constant work to be done. It's work.
Find joy in the transition because I felt like for a long time I was withholding joy from myself until I get where I want to be. Find more like joy in the work.
We never really necessarily talked about, in the past at least, like the mental game a transition has. Back in the days, it would just be very to yourself. The younger generation is so communicative about what they're feeling mentally, physically, emotionally, that it's opening the conversation about things that some girls didn't even really talk about before in their transitions. More personable, conversations about the transition I think would be beneficial too.
That was a good question.
Great question.
I'll let you know finding it.
I find entertainment in little things that no one is ever going to hear about or know about because it's my little journey. And it could be something as silly as walking my dog and seeing butterflies and counting how many I see, and then right when I look up, a truck that says like Transcontinental Energy walks by. And that's like a whole moment for me that's really special, and it reminds me of my journey. My transition is not so much destination based as it is just walking through the day and being authentic and growing from it.
I think sometimes you have to like work for joy too.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
joy is like not something that just like naturally falls in your lap a lot of time. Especially like transition, you have to like actively open yourself up to receive joy.
Yes.
So you have to find out like different ways to manifest it and also like be comfortable with it when it comes to you. Like with a lot of like transness and like thinking about transness is like the physical features that like may give you away as a trans person are really unsettling in certain times. But then at other times, some of the things that kind of make me like clocky or clockable are like some things that I think are my hottest features.
I find a lot of joy too pulling myself away from being trans or fixating on it, because it can take up so much brain space. That can just take you away from life sometimes. Find things outside of just thinking about your body, then you can find so much more joy and live a life, outside of just overthinking. Yeah.
The transition is both spiritual, metaphysical, and physical. And I think a lot of times you do have to feed, honestly, the spiritual and internal part of you more and focus on that part of you transitioning. And that part doesn't have private parts or boobs or, noses or anything. It's just energy. You're focusing on things that are more eternally transitioning than just physically.
My whole drag is based around trans entertainers. Mimi Marks, Chantal DeMarco, your mother, Giselle Barbie Royale, and Naisha. Even though Naisha doesn't identify as trans,
You're like honorary trans.
honorary stamp, because she was the first, But those girls really had a vision of what they wanted their drag to be, but also their identity to be, and keeping it separate, but also interluding it at the same time.
I think the person that I honestly look up to in this moment is Tevin, and that's like me before I started transitioning. A lot of people like to forget who that person is, And I embrace it because honestly, without Tevin, there would be no bodyguard for Demoria. There's like the caterpillar, and then there's the cocoon, and then there's the butterfly. All of those beginning phases before was all Tevin. That kid who had to deal with all the hardship and all that stuff was Tevin. That was a person who inspired me to transition. And had it not been for my old self and who I was, then I don't think I'll be here today in the sense of being protected and dealing with everything. I appreciate that person.
Whether that's how you identify now or not, the person that you were before is still you. There's a road that person took. There were things that person went through to find the truth that you're currently living in.
I think a lot about Candy Darling. First of all, just like connected with how cool she was. She was just like the coolest person in all of this art and all these movies. She was not just like brought down to like a little like point of like, oh, that's the trans one. Like she was a very talented person as well.
Do it how you see fit for yourself. Don't delete or deplete the person that you were. Let that be your growth into everything, and find a community. That's the best thing I think about it, is having people like this to back you up. I may be like an asshole to them like 99% of the time, like don't touch me or I'll kick your ass, but it's like, get in, I'm a bitch. You want these things, you know, you want these kind of moments to have people to talk to. We each talk to each other in different manners about different situations and conversations. So find community, be an individual, but don't do it alone, if that makes sense.
Like, I don't know everything about being trans, but I think through my mother, Sasha, and just kind of being around people that are considered legends in the trans world, I've gotten to learn so much about this beautiful history that you have to kind of invest in and learn about. It helped me kind of like go back to my drawing board and be like, oh my gosh, like she authentically lived it to the last minute, and how can I be better about doing that now? So do your homework, find out about the world around you, because there's many, many, many divas, including you. You about to be a diva too.
Or Devo.
Or Diva. That's all right. Or Diva. Or D-them. D-them. Yeah.
Divax.
Baby.
When you start HRT and you go to your doctor and they teach you how to take your shots, make sure you pay attention.
Yeah, make sure you pay attention
It
to the
shouldn't
doctor
take you
and
4
don't
times
stick yourself 3
if you paid
times
attention to
in
what the
ass.
doctor was telling you.
If you
So
listen to the doctor and you pay attention to the rules, you could do your hormones completely fine. But
Not
if
a
you don't,
suppository, Jasmine.
yeah, baby.
Enjoy it.
enjoy those mood swings.
Yeah.
Enjoy those
it.
body.
What mood swing?
Enjoy those times when your body just hurts.
You go off of the
Enjoy those times when you're tired. Just love it all. It's just all peaches and cream from here on out.